guys? What's happening, Fortress Dwellers? It's Manny Brandon with Manny's Fitness Fortress, the citadel of power. Guys, today I'm going to give you my personal review of Fantastic Four and tell you why it failed to muscle up at the box office. All that coming up, plus a whole lot more right now. What's going on, fam? Thank you guys very much for coming back here with me. Thanks for taking time out of your day to join me. You could be doing anything else, but you're here watching me, so I really appreciate you guys. Right at the start, I want to tell you, every like, every comment, every share means a lot, so engage in the comment section, share the video, and please like and subscribe. Well, I'm a hardcore Marvel fan, just comic book fan in general. And you can see I got my mighty Thor hammer here. You know, this is reminiscent of the channel itself, not just superheroes, the Fitness Fortress. But I went and watched a movie. I really enjoyed Fantastic Four, actually. I was quite surprised. On the level of Marvel movies from the first and second phase, where most movies, like the name Marvel itself back then could have garnered millions of dollars. This movie, out of 10, or I'll do it out of 5, I'll give it a 3.5. So I'm gonna go into what I actually liked about the movie, what they had that was consistent and wasn't consistent, and then I'll go over the points that made it, perform subpar at the box office. All right, first we're gonna get into what I liked about the movie. I really liked the retro. People are saying, well, it didn't do the numbers because it took it too far back. The movie had a setting that the comics had when it first came out. And that's not what hurt it, because I think it was nostalgic, but it was also very artsy, having the setting of the movie back in the 60s. And another movie that did that was X-Men First Class. X-Men First Class was an amazing movie. And it was so crazy, the editing, the cinematography, the fight scenes of X-Men First Class surpassed even a lot of other comic book movies around that time that were set in the present. So it's not about the time period. They're trying to call this like a period piece. If it's a period piece or a modern day classic or a futuristic, doesn't matter. If it's good, it's good. But I really like that, the nostalgia of it. There was a lot of blue, I really like that. The acting was good. I like the way they interacted with each other. Johnny, Mr. Fantastic, Sue, and Ben. The one thing I wish they could have did a little bit more, or gave me a little bit more of, was Ben Grimm's, the Thing's more scruffier voice. In the last Fantastic Four, or I think maybe the second one, his get-up costume looked horrible. They needed to use CGI, but his voice was amazing, was perfect. So they took that away in this one, but overall, the cast was excellent. I think a lot of the politics of Pedro was, kind of overshadowing some of the movie's momentum, all the stuff he had going on outside of the, Hollywood. And that's stuff you got to be careful of, because you don't want your daily life and your personal life, especially if it has negative connotations on your image, you don't want that to spill over into your work in Hollywood, because that can affect ticket prices and, limit or amount to less butts and seats. But I thought the cast was great. I thought the acting was great. The fight scenes, the flight scenes in outer space were amazing. I'm not worried about spoiler alerts, because I'm giving my review a little later than everybody else. And I did that on purpose because I wanted to wait until the second weekend had passed to see how it would hold up. And it was actually a 66% weekend drop from one week to the next, which was a lot more. It was really in the same ballpark as Superman the first week. But even these numbers today, Superman's box office for the first week and Fantastic Four's box office for the first week they're both subpar, for what comic book movies should be. Because if you adjust the dollars to Man of Steel and adjust the dollars for 2025, that's $927 million for its entire global run. And we'll see if Superman hits that. So all comic book movies today that are coming out today are subpar right now in the numbers because a lot of people just don't trust the woke agenda that's going on in Hollywood. You know, they got this stuff going on with the gender assassination of characters, gender swapping, backwashing all kinds of stories and changing the stories and trying to give a reason of, alternate universes and stuff like that. So it can be cool if it's intertwined, you know, in a good story, but die-hard comic book fans want what's in the comics. We want the actors to remain the same race, the same gender as they were in the comics. And that's it, you know? There's no reason for any deviation. But I did like the effects. The space scenes, the space flight scenes were awesome with the female Silver Surfer. I like the way they had her posing during her flights on the surfboard. The interaction with Galactus was awesome. I like his first shot. The first shot they showed of him was a very brooding, compelling, dominant character. The way they had the lighting, you could only see his eyes. It was a dark image. He looked like he was the size of a planet. And they showed the backdrops of the ship. That was really awesome. I like how, you know, they showed the interaction on Earth between the Fantastic Four and the population of the Earth people when they found out that the baby, Franklin Richards, was the only reason that this creature was here. And you see the pure, real nature of people when everybody's worried about their own existence, their own survival. You know, they were like, give the baby up. One baby is worth it to control or to save, you know, millions of lives. And it's a really intense moment in the movie where it makes you think, like, what would I do? So I like that about the movie as well because it was thought-provoking. And it's rare in comic book movies, it's thought-provoking. Now, there was a lot of scenes where after Galactus arrived on Earth, they should have kept him levitating or sitting in his throne chair, which is what he does in the comics. Even when he comes to devour a planet, he doesn't get off of his throne, you know, or his machine pod and drop down to the planet and start walking on it, walking around, smashing buildings and stuff like that. Even though he was looking for Reed Richards' son, I mean, he could have used a tractor beam or something like that when he sighted him. It would have seemed more, it would have gave Galactus a more dominant and celestial presence. Other than that, all the sequences were pretty good. I just didn't like the later scenes of the film where they showed his face having too much emotions like a human. Galactus is an entity, and he doesn't look like one particular creature. He looks like whatever you are as a race. Every race that he goes to, whatever planet you are, whatever your you know, existence is, whatever type of humanoid you are, that's who you see when you look at Galactus. So if you are a reptilian type of race with green skin, that's what you'll see when you look at Galactus. So if you're familiar with the comics, you understand that that's his, and it would make sense too because he's a universal character. So that's what you see. He's part of the universe's essence. So I liked a lot of the movie as far as the details outside of the female Silver Surfer. Everything was pretty much on point. I love the effects towards the end when Mr. Fantastic started doing this thing. They showed a little bit of Ben's strength, and he threw the tanker up. That was pretty, you know, pretty wild. And it was a good movie. I'll leave it at that. It was a good movie. Wasn't amazing, like jaw-dropping, but it was a good movie. It was a great start for Marvel. All right, now I'm going to get into the stuff that was wrong with it. Now, the first reason I deem is the reason why it didn't muscle up at the box office is because people don't trust Marvel anymore or DC to the extent they used to. Marvel's trust has to be earned back. Disney's trust has to be earned back. When you go down the list of the movies that came out before this, Thunderbolts was a good movie. It wasn't great, but it was a good movie. You know, Captain America, Brave New World was a good movie. It had some great action scenes, had a great story, and there is credence to Anthony Mackie's backstory about him going through different types of racial, scenarios in his life and his mental. So it didn't appeal to a lot of people, but each character is different. Brave New World was a good movie, and there was a time when just being a good movie in Marvel meant a crazy blockbuster, meant crazy numbers. It doesn't now. To come out with a Marvel movie now, it has to be amazing. It has to be astounding. So Marvel fans, DC fans, comic book fans, comic book fans, their trust has to be won back. So after the Marvels, Brave New World kind of underperformed. You got Thor: Love and Thunder. It was horrible. With movies like this, it's no wonder like people are skeptical. These numbers are not reminiscent of what the quality of that movie was. All right, I'll say that. The numbers that Fantastic Four is getting is not equate to the quality of movie it is. Because that movie should have about 600 or 700 million worldwide by now. So I will say that, but people's trust has to be won back. The next thing is, like I said, I kind of mentioned this about what I liked about it. I like the flight scenes in outer space with the female Silver Surfer, but the fact that she was female actually kept away a lot of diehard Marvel fans, comic book fans. People wanted to see the male Silver Surfer. They wanted to see Norman Rad. All right, that's period. So when Disney learns, you got to start giving people what they want. You got to give people what they want. You're going to waste billions and billions on stuff trying to push agendas in Hollywood and the elites telling you what they want you to put out to try to affect and manipulate the masses. You want to put out a good quality product so that you can keep making money and continue your legacy. So they got to stop with all this gender swapping, all right? And they got to stop with all these other politics that have no place in movies, and especially no place in comic book movies. All right. The next thing, there was really no build-up for Fantastic Four. As you know, they're marching up to Avengers Doomsday, and after that, Avengers Secret Wars. There was really no build-up. Guys, if you go back and count the movies from Iron Man, the original Iron Man, to Avengers Endgame, or Avengers Infinity War, you count all the Marvel movies in between that with all the characters, all the heroes and villains. There was a surplus of movies, smorgasbord. We got what? Avengers, we got Captain America, Brave New World, we got Thunderbolts, we got Fantastic Four. What else was there? It was like a Thunderbolts, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, the Marvels, that all performed lacklusterly, and those are the movies leading up to this. So it wasn't enough build-up. That's not enough content. Those are not enough movies to build up to such an epic event, a universal, galactic, multiversal event like Avengers Doomsday or Secret Wars. It's not enough material. You need more material to build upon the characters' stories. And that's why I'm very afraid. I feel there's only one more movie coming out before Avengers Doomsday and Spider-Man, Brand New Day. They're going to have to push a crap load of content into that movie to branch off and explain everything that happened before it and stuff that's coming. So it just wasn't enough build-up, material building up to this Fantastic Four and beyond to Avengers Doomsday. So that's my final reason why I think that it underperformed and did not muscle up at the box office. Having said that, like I said before, out of 5, I give it a 3.5 stars. Fantastic Four is a good movie. It's really good entertainment. It's just not great. It's not amazing. It's not incredible. It's good. Now, hopefully, with Kevin Feige and the crew behind some of these future projects, even if they don't get all the original cast members back, we can get into that qualities, keep the woke agenda out of the movies, bring in 100% of the comic accurate costumes, you know, and just keep, you know, the gender swapping to a minimum. Give the customers, give the fans what they want, and they'll give you what you want. Billions of dollars in your movie studios. Guys, thanks for listening. I know I'm kind of late with this, but like I said, I wanted to wait for about 2 weeks to see what happened after the second weekend. It's like with any movie. The first weekend is just initial. It's going to be an initial rush. I wanted to see what kind of drop there was and see what kind of staying power this movie had. But thanks for joining me, and I'll catch you in the next video.